AI can finally write letters and documents and reports exactly how we want them. Hallelujah! So we've always struggled with brand voice, with getting it to format things the way we like them, with headers and footers and images and structure of the documents, and it's very hard to describe what it is that we want. But we're there, and I want to show you the best way I know how to do that. So we often go into a prompt and we upload documents or meeting transcripts and we say, hey, make this into a document, make this into an advice letter, make me an engagement letter. And we know that we do better if we attach an example rather than try and describe what it is that we want, but still we'll end up with formatting a bit off and the document not looking exactly how we like it. Here's the best way I know how to do that today. So this is standard Word. And here I've got my trusty Copilot or my Claude plugin, whatever it is that we're using. And I've got a document here. Maybe it's one of my old engagement letters that I did for another client, or maybe it is an advice document or a report to the board. And I'm going to drag in some context. So this is pretending to be a meeting transcript with another client. Maybe this was their onboarding or their sales meeting. Maybe this is notes from a meeting. Maybe these are other reports that need to go into the board report, whatever it is. And all I'm going to say is adapt this document based on the attached transcript. Copilot's going to think about it, and soon we're going to say it start to edit my document inline. There we go. The date changed, the reference changed, the names are changing, the address, here the names in the title, and it's starting to edit the actual document. And if you spend some time reading this is actually scope of our services, and it's going to scope the services based on our conversation and rewrite that. What is not included, and the list here is longer than what it was before. It's going to update our fees here, and then the fee table. There we go. And all the rest, all the way to the signature blocks. And there we go. My document is ready for me to review. It tells me on the side what it did here, and that's that. If I wanted to do this even better, I would start on the chat first, going, here's a transcript or notes or other reports. What do you think we need to change? And it would list, and I would negotiate and get, yes, this, but no, not that. And actually, we also need to cover this. And only once we've finished that conversation, I'd go, right, now go and apply the changes. But what we are seeing is that my document layout is intact. The images, the header, the footer, the structure, the headings, the formatting, the language will all match. And that is magic. If you're on Copilot and you don't have this floating Copilot button here, maybe you're not on Copilot Premium, or maybe you need to speak to your IT. If you're on Claude and you want to get this Claude plugin here on the side, go to your Claude account in the browser, in the desktop, doesn't matter, and go to your name here and get apps and extensions, and you'll find all the wonderful plugins here for you to install. What I find really exciting about this is that AI is coming more and more into our workflow. That is agentic AI. It can collaborate with me in my documents, in my spreadsheets, in wherever it is that I am, rather than me having to go to a chatbot on the side and have a chat about my work and then copy paste. I love that. We're also seeing that as it comes into our workflow, into our environment, it gets easier and easier to get it to think like us and behave like us without having to describe a lot of how we work, because it just sees the environment, it sees the document, it sees what it is. Some people add a clause document or a paragraph database. The way to do that is to get a lot of your past engagement letters or advice letters, and you can bring that into the chat as well, so it can use those clauses. There you go. Give it a go. Try it with your next board report or advice letter or engagement letter or anything you're writing. And the little thing to keep in mind, if you are using an old client document and to adapt to a new client document rather than a generic template, just make sure that you don't have any data leaking, any information leaking from one client to the other or from one matter to the other. Track changes can be tricky here because it can hide the things that are still there. It keeps the old version. So just make sure, maybe upload it later to another chat and just check if there's anything that leaked through. Otherwise, if you make a generic document to always start from, you're safer. And if you want to do more of this with me, join me at my club. We now have over 130 accountants, bookkeepers, practice managers in Australia and New Zealand joining together and sharing what they do and how they do it, sharing prompts and showing each other exactly how they're doing things. If you join now into the September intake, we have a legal session coming up in September. We've got a training on Copilot and Claude. We've got an AI policy session and the usual implementation sessions where we just get together and show each other what we're working on and exactly how we do it and let each other copy notes. I'd love to see you there. Inbal.com.au/AI club.